Welcome to Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. Romans and I are both money guys, but we're also gamers, so we wanted to put this pod together to help gamers like us with some of their tough money topics that can sometimes feel as hard as a Souls boss.
We're talking budgeting, saving, paying off debt, and how to not fall for all the traps life throws at you.
Grab a health potion and let's start stacking gold IRL. This is DLC, a finance podcast for gamers. Welcome to Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. I'm Scruffy, this is Romans, and today we're going to be breaking down a little bit about retirement and specifically investing in retirement accounts, why it matters, what you should pick, and how you should start investing moving forward. I think most people don't lose out on saving for retirement because they made a bunch of bad investments. Most of them are because they didn't invest at all, didn't get started, or picked the wrong type of way to invest for retirement. So wanted to go over some of the basics of that, break that down. It's probably going to be a little bit of a quicker episode today, but I think it'll be really useful for y'all.
You know, retirement is a weird thing. It's one of those things where you don't want to do it when you're young, but you're desperate for it when you're old. And it's also weird if you did it when you're young, you don't need to even think about it when you're old. So I'm hoping if
Yeah.
you're below the age of 25, if you're below the age of 25, I hope you can do something. Usually you don't have as much money than you do when you're 45, but it just exponentially hurts if you start at 45.
Oh,
So,
that reminds me of something. I'm
mm,
keep talking because I'm going to pull something
okay.
up
So what
because it's a Dave Ramsey thing that I think would be on that specific topic. I think would be
So
really
cool.
cool.
So while he pulls that up, the other thing I want to talk about is life insurance. I am so glad someone convinced me to do life insurance at the age of 27. I was at the peak of my health, super healthy, and I got like a 30-year policy or whatnot. And it was dirt cheap. I got re-quoted at 35 and then at 40, and it was insane. So again, if you're under the age of 30, reach out to Scruffy and get your future under control. You should have a life insurance. Well, again, if you're financially able to do so, you should have more than if all you have is a savings account and you make over 50,000 a year, you should probably talk to Scruffy. Especially if you're married making
Yeah.
over 100,000 a year. Maybe you're trying to save up for your first house, which is very good. Nothing wrong with that. I myself, as a second generation immigrant, have always wanted my own house. I went from apartment to apartment. I went from apartment to apartment not only as a kid, but then when it was my turn in college and then into adulthood. And for me, just owning my own house was such a big deal for me because I hated the
Yeah,
instability of life.
absolutely. Yeah. So I just sent you something because you were
Oh,
talking about starting young reminded me of it. Our setup won't let me share my screen,
okay.
so I'll
I'll
need
do it.
you to do it.
Yep.
Uh, but this is just it's called the Ben and Arthur example. It's a super, well-known common example, but it just shows you the power of compound interest and starting early. So this is called the Ben and
Oops.
Arthur example, and it shows you the power of starting young. And as we get into different types of retirement accounts, I'll show you why this is specifically so great. But you look at this, in this example, Ben is investing $2,000 a year from age 19 to 26 and then never does anything for the rest of his life and ends up with almost $2.3 million dollars. And this is assuming general market returns, I think, of either 10 or 12%, which is very reasonable to get. I think it's 12%. Um, and then you have Arthur, which is the second guy who waits until 27 to start investing and invests $2,000 a year for the rest of his life. And he ends up with $1.5 million. So if you are young, take a look at this and see how powerful you have the ability to make your money work for you right now. And on the other side, if you are, 26, 27, there's still a possibility to be able to get a lot of money now. So, yes, if you're not 18, you probably wish you would have known this when you were 18. But even if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, there's still a lot of time to invest and get money set aside and put yourself in a really good position for moving forward.
And this might
So,
come off poorly, but that's something I just want to say. So at 27 years old, when they both start, Ben is investing at $31,000 when Arthur
mhm,
only invests 2,000. So really, Arthur doesn't invest the same money until here, when he's 34, which makes sense because it's 2,000 a month. And so what I want to say is the way you fix this is you just invest $40,000 when you're 30, right? So if you're
yeah,
30, just have 40,000. Just don't be poor. Just have 40,000 come out of nowhere, and you can catch up where Ben is at. The whole point of the story though is you can go little and go early, or go heavy and go hard, right? So like I'm
yeah,
44, so I should give somewhere around. I need to invest basically $250,000 today to catch up to Ben, and
yeah.
whether I have that or not is up to you to guess. But um, yeah, it's still
But like this,
doable if you happen to get
yeah.
rich later in life.
Hmm. Well, and this example, like this is only $2,000 a year. Like that is very doable for most people. Like if you have kids, that makes things more complicated. But if you are single or married without kids, $2,000 a year is probably pretty doable. Like that's not too much of an ask. No matter where you are, you're still able to make a good amount of money investing for retirement for the future. And now we'll talk about how you can actually effectively do that. What are some different ways to do that? So the first thing I wanted to go through is there's basically two different types of saving for retirement, and it is all related to how you are going to be taxed. So there are traditional retirement accounts, and then there's what's called Roth retirement accounts. And the main difference between those two is traditional, you pay the taxes later. Roth, you pay the taxes now. And there's different advantages to both of those things. So for a traditional account where you are going to be not paying any taxes right now and paying taxes on that money when you get into retirement in the future, those are particularly going to be well suited for people who are making a lot of money now. Like if you're making probably over $100,000 a year if you're single, if you're over 200 if you're married. That is probably going to be the best place you can put that money because you're going to be not spending money on your high incremental tax bracket. So you're going to be saving a lot of money on taxes today. And then later on in retirement, when you're taking less money out, your tax is going to be a lot less. That's the theory behind it, at least. Versus a Roth account, you pay taxes on the money, you pay all the income taxes, but then it grows completely tax free. So, for that Ben and Arthur example, if you're the guy who invests $16,000 and then never again, you only ever pay taxes on that $16,000. And then for the rest of your life, that money grows completely tax free. And then in retirement, you get tax free income. So if you are young, if you take nothing else from this episode, if you are in your 20s, open a Roth IRA and put as much money in there as you can because you are going to save so much money in taxes. In that example we were looking at earlier where he had almost $2.3 million dollars, that is 2.3 million of tax-free dollars for retirement. Like, imagine what you'd be able to do. You'd be able to enjoy life. You'd be able to bless so many people and not have to give the government any of that money. Now, for the other example, where maybe like Romans was talking about, where maybe you're a little bit older and need to catch up and spend and invest more money, that's when potentially a traditional IRA, 401k, whatever, we'll get into the more specifics there, more traditional retirement accounts would make sense. Um, if you're making good money and need to put a lot aside, that's probably where you're going to be want to focus in on that.
Yep.
but very high level.
Yeah, so do it or lose. It's pretty much a win loss condition. There are other ways to win, but this is the passive way. You could just grind your life out and just, we did an episode of Burnt Peanut where he's probably making 1 million a year. You could do that, but for you to be Burnt Peanut is, I'm pretty sure it's a 1% chance. You have to have the right skills, the right game, the right attitude,
Hmm.
the right health. Lot of things have to line up for you to make all those things happen. Or you could just start at the age of 19, $2,000 a year. Like, there's the easy way or the hard way. Um, I would
Yeah,
choose easy way.
yeah, absolutely. So let's go into some of the specifics of retirements. So if you're not self-employed, chances are you're going to have a retirement plan at your work. 99% of those retirement plans are either going to be a 403b or a 401k. Both of those are for the employees of that company. A lot of them will also have both a Roth and a traditional option. So you still have that availability to pick the Roth tax-free growth for the rest of your life, or traditional where you're saving the taxes now and paying them later in retirement. So another thing that's really, really beneficial is if you work for a company and they offer a 401k or a 403b, most of them will have what's called a matching program. And what that means is they will, to incentivize people to invest for retirement, they will give you up to a certain amount of your salary if you're contributing it to your actual retirement account. So, for example, a common program is they'll match the first 3% that you put into your account. So, if you put in 3% of your salary to retirement, you are automatically making 100% on your money because the company is going to give you that in your retirement account. You do literally nothing and you double your money. So that is huge. If you are working a job and you have that available, you are shooting yourself in the foot if you are not taking advantage of that today.
I gotta contact you, Scruffy. That's what the viewers should be saying as they listen to this. Do
But
not
yeah,
call Romans, call Scruffy.
my info will be in the show notes. So if anyone has any questions, wants to reach out to me, wants to get more specific about their situation, reach out to me. I will be able to break this down in much more detailed for you specifically. So reach out to me, hit me up on Discord, set an appointment on my calendar, send me an email, whatever. I'm available. Um, so there's a couple pros and cons to these. The biggest pro is that the matching will instantly double your money. You're allowed to put a lot more money into these type of plans. So if you're, a little bit older and need to be putting more money aside, this is really beneficial for you. The other really nice thing is you can have it automatically taken out of your paycheck. So you don't have to think about it. The money just automatically goes into your account. And this is my some of my best clients are people that hate to look at their investment accounts. I had a review with a client that didn't realize their account was up 50% last year. And we were doing our annual review and they were like, "Oh, okay, my account almost doubled in a single year." Because they were just automatically putting money away. I was investing it for them, and then boom, we had an amazing year, and they were very happy. A couple of the cons with a 401k or 403b, you're limited to like the set number of investments, so you can't go outside of what the company's approved, and you're not able to pull your money out just whenever you want. You are limited to 59 and a half, or else you pay a bunch of penalties to the government. So because of that, there's, a couple small drawbacks, but overall, it's a really, really good plan. Now, if you wanted to do something in addition to that, or if you work for yourself, for example, don't have a 401k, don't have a 403b at work, there are still options for you. You can open what's called a individual retirement account or IRA, and there's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. So again, you have those two tax options. The government limits you to $7,500 to put into those accounts. So if you're young and are only going to be doing, 2,000, 3,000, or 7,000 if you can, that'd be amazing in a year. Those accounts would be literally perfect for you. So the advantages of these type of accounts is you are able to invest in whatever. Um, if that sounds like a stressful thing, reach out to me. I can help you with that. That's literally what I do for work is I help people invest their money, manage it for them, and make sure that they're investing in good investments that are going to grow their money over the long term and hit their goals. But again, you got to consider the tax benefit of a traditional versus a Roth. But if you need either more money because you hit your contribution limits in the 401k or 403b, or you your company doesn't offer a 401k, 403b, these are great tax advantage options that you can invest in. If you're in your 20s, please, please open a Roth IRA and put as much money in there as possible. Now, for those of you streamers who maybe you're making more money and you need to be putting aside more than 7,500 in a year for retirement, there's a couple options for you. Two main ones for retirement. You can open what's called a solo 401k, which this is going to be the most expensive option because it's going to cost money to actually set it up. Or you can have what's called a SEP IRA. SEP stands for Simplified Employee Pension Plan, but it's just like a traditional IRA. You are allowed to put up to 25% of your income as a business into that retirement account. I think it goes up to a max of $69,000, I believe. But you're able to invest that like you would a regular IRA, and invest it however you want, and you get the same benefits as like a traditional retirement account. So if you're in that situation where you're, a streamer, business owner, need to put more money aside for retirement, a SEP IRA is going to be a really great option for you. The solo 401k, the disadvantage of the SEP is there's no Roth option. The solo 401k does have a Roth option. So that is pretty beneficial because you have same contribution limits that a 401k offered from your business, but you're able to do it just for you at your business. But it is more expensive. It's more expensive in time to set up and also actual costs to administrate it and get all the proper documentation and stuff for that. Those are specifically for you if you are a business owner, though. And like I said, I'm going really high level for all of this stuff. If you have specific questions, reach out to me.
Yeah,
Another thing,
every time we
sorry,
have
go
these
ahead.
conversations, I just always want to check. So sorry, I looked off camera. Probably looked like I was paying attention, but I just want to check my accounts while you're talking, because I don't look after an entire year. So I just checked, and one of my accounts that I never checked is up 13%. So
There you
uh,
go.
I was, and these are not small numbers, so I don't want to say it. But let's just say I'm feeling very comfortable right now because that's a lot. That 13% of a big number is a bigger number. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely.
things are looking good. After this,
I mean,
after
it's not
this,
50% like I got from my clients, but it's still good.
well, call me. So, all right, continue.
Yeah. Another great option for families that's not necessarily retirement, but a good tax savings option. And this is only for like my advanced people. Like you're investing a lot of money in retirement. You don't necessarily you're not like needing to put more in retirement, but you want to be able to have your money working for you. It's what's called a health savings account or HSA. This is literally the perfect thing for someone with a high deductible health insurance or something like that. What HSA is essentially an investment account for money that you're going to use for medical expenses. It's completely tax free. You get to invest it. All of the growth is completely tax free, And as long as you're using it for medical expenses, you're never going to pay any taxes on the money you put into that account. It's one of the only accounts that you can ever get that is contributions to the account are tax deductible, so they don't count as income for you for the year. It grows completely tax free. And when you pull it out, as long as you're using it for medical expenses, you never pay any taxes on it. So if you have the ability to do that, that is super, super beneficial.
And what's crazy about the HSA, if you get it high enough, you can invest it in
Hmm.
stuff. So
Yeah.
you could watch or cry with me. I bought Nvidia stock with my HSA.
Okay.
100% Nvidia stock is HSA.
100%. Romans is what you would call a very risk tolerant investor.
Can you imagine? There's over 10 grand
Like,
in this HSA. It's all in Nvidia stock. So anyone in the old comment section, please send me a message if Nvidia goes bankrupt because I won't have any money to pay for medical bills.
oh, that's a choice. That is certainly a choice. All right. Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover for like the really high level, like what are these investment accounts, what you should choose. I also wanted to just run through a couple like common things that I've seen with different my clients, different people that I'm talking to about that, either misconceptions or like something that they think, oh, I shouldn't do this because of XYZ. So, one of the things about a Roth is this is going to be for very, very few of our viewers, but sometimes you can make so much money that you are not eligible to put it into a Roth. Let me find out what that number is right now. But I think if it's, um, I think, let's see. Yeah, I think it's close to a $200,000. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Because it just changed. Every year it changes.
You look at the Roth income limits.
Yeah. So for a single person, if you make over
Hmm.
$153,000, you're not eligible for a Roth. If you're married, it's 124. Um, so for people that are making a lot of money, it may seem like you don't have an option for a Roth unless you have a Roth 401k. It's not actually true. You can do what's called a backdoor Roth and convert money from a traditional IRA or traditional account to a Roth account. You just have to pay the taxes from converting that tax deferred money to tax um, money that you've paid for. And it's pretty simple to do. And it can really save you a lot of taxes if you want to do it. Probably the most common thing that I see people do, that's the biggest mistake, is just say, "Oh, I'll deal with it later. I'm young. I don't need to think about retirement, and I'll deal with it later." I think the graph we showed you at the beginning of the episode should hopefully dispel that. Uh, in fact, if you deal with it today, you probably won't have to deal with it in your 40s and 50s and can use some of that disposable money to travel with your family, do different things like retire early if you want to invest more. Like getting started on this now provides you so much flexibility. And one of the things I talk a lot about with my clients is what retirement actually looks like. Because I know Romans is this way because he retired a while ago and now is probably busier than he was before he retired.
Do not recommend.
So retire, yeah. So maybe don't do that. But like retirement looks different for everybody. And I know for me, I'm never going to stop working. Like I'm always going to be doing something. I want to be able to choose what I want to do in the future and do whatever God is putting on my heart for retirement, whether it be ministry, whether it be continuing to grow my business to help other people. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like, but starting early gives you the flexibility to be able to do what you want, to listen to the Holy Spirit, what God's doing in your family, in your heart, and it just gives you more options. So start as soon as possible. Um, Anything you wanted to speak to that, Romans?
No, it's just an uncomfortable moment. But while you're having this, just don't forget where tithing plays a part. If you're a believer, where you give. Obviously, your retirement matters, your future matters, your financial security matters. Especially if you're me, you have no one to fall back on. Like, there's no one to call. I don't have parents who have generational wealth ready to pick me up and help me out. So you can't count on that, I think, for the most part. And you should really be self sufficient. So do something. A little bit now with the power of time is everything. If you're below the age of
Mm-hmm.
40, literally your greatest employee is time, your second greatest employee is
Mm-hmm.
money. So just put them both to work, time and money, put them to work. They never complain, they never ask for a raise. They work 24/7, 365. Even when you're sick, they're not. Uh, yeah, do something.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing that I've seen like a lot of misconceptions around is you have to pick between your 401k and like a regular IRA. You're able to do both. So if you're, maxing out your regular 401k, 403b, whatever, you still have the option to do an IRA. And this is great for like if you have a 401k without a Roth option and want to take advantage of that tax-free growth for the rest of your life, you can put money into your 401k, get the match, get the 100% instant return, and then throw the rest of your money in a Roth IRA and let that grow tax-free for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So that's something that I definitely would recommend if you have that ability. And then the last thing is a lot of people with the traditional say, well, like, okay, I'm not in a high tax bracket right now, so why would I want to put money into a traditional or why would I put money in a Roth? Your tax bracket very well could change. Like, you never know what our government is going to do, whether it's tax cuts, tax hikes. If you have an option to get tax advantaged anything on your money, take it because what you're paying now is probably not going to be what you're paying in 20 years, and most likely it's going to be more. So take advantage on tax breaks while you still can.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and that's pretty much most of the things I wanted to cover. I think there's a couple just to break down what we covered. There's two types of investment accounts for retirement. There's accounts where you're paying taxes on the money and that grows tax free forever, or there's accounts where you're not paying any taxes today and you pay taxes in the future. Both grow over time, and you just need to decide if you're going to pay taxes now or pay taxes in the future. Um, and then there's different types of retirement accounts, whether it be a 401k, 403b, retirement or excuse me, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and then if you're a business owner, solo 401k or SEP IRA. There's not like necessarily a right or wrong answer as long as you're doing something. Just get started. That is, if anything, like this, the point of this episode is there's a lot of tools that you can use to benefit yourself in saving for retirement. Find one that works for you. If you need help, reach out to me. I will help you find the right tool. But just get started. We're recording this episode right at the new year. It is the perfect time to start saving for the future and being a good steward of what God has given you. The Bible over and over talks about being stewards and actually being responsible with what we've been given. The Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. We're not here to just spend all the money we get. That is irresponsible and does not honor God. So take what you've been given, be responsible, and don't be selfish, and invest for the future and invest for your family.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Do something, anything.
Yes.
Do
And if
something.
you need, I'm here. So, like I said, in the description of this episode, in the show notes, there will be a link to my website. There'll be a link to my Discord, to my email, to my calendar if you want to set a meeting up with me. I'm here to help. So you have no excuse to not get started.
Yeah, and if you're really crazy like me, you can consider buying pre-IPO SpaceX stock on a secondary market. So that's super advanced stuff that
Yeah, super advanced stuff. Not not for the faint of heart.
I'm currently wagering whether 420 a share is a reasonable
Yeesh.
valuation at 800 billion. But anyways, so if you're not doing anything, just stay poor, or do something, anything intentional, not one time, recurring. Build it into a plan, and then stick to the plan. Don't rethink it. Don't second guess yourself. Stick to the plan you have in front of you. Talk to Scruffy you don't know. You can talk to me if you want really bad advice, like I'm buying Nvidia stock now. I'm buying SpaceX pre-IPO stock. So if you want really bad, I'm very aggressive, full high risk. I have zero risk. What's that? Not
You
tolerance. The opposite. I'm not afraid of risk.
aversion. You have zero risk aversion.
Yes, it's all gas, no brakes. Jacob Fatu over here.
Which, yeah, if you're, you know, 20, that's maybe not the worst idea in the world. But if you're in your 40s, maybe don't do that.
Oh, good thing I'm in my 20s. All right.
Oh, well, thank you all for listening. I hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions or any comments, drop them below. But this has been Dollars, Lifestyle, and Charity, a finance podcast for gamers. We'll see you next time.
Bye.